Welcome to Whispering Words, the podcast where we unlock the secrets to speaking English clearly and confidently. I'm excited to have you here today.
Hey everyone! If you've ever stumbled over a word and thought, how on earth do I say that? You're in the right place.
Today we're tackling those tricky, frustrating words that look one way but are pronounced entirely differently. Even native speakers struggle with them.
Oh, absolutely. Words like kernel or wait, what about epitome? I mean, how are you supposed to predict that?
Exactly. And then there's anemone. Let's face it, it's a tongue twister waiting to happen.
But here's the good news. It's totally possible to master these challenges. In this episode, we'll reveal some fascinating patterns in English pronunciation, share an easy 3-step method for conquering tough words, and even practice saying them together.
And yes, we're covering over 20 commonly mispronounced words, so you'll definitely walk away with a clearer understanding.
And maybe a little more confidence too. Oh, and fair warning, this is going to be interactive.
So grab a notebook, settle in, and let's get started. All right, let's kick this off with some confidence and dive into these tricky words together. First up, kernel. Spelled with a C-O-L-O-N-E-L, but pronounced like kernel. How did we even get here?
Right? It's like the word skipped spelling class or something.
Exactly. The weird part is that it's a borrowing mishap. It came from the French word colonel, which originally came from Italian. Somewhere along the line, English decided to grab the French spelling, but change the pronunciation. Typical English.
So basically, it's a linguistic Frankenstein. Got it.
And then there's epitome. It looks like epitome, but no, it's epitome. That one catches so many people off guard.
It totally does. I remember once I said epitome in front of a bunch of friends, and someone just blinked at me for a solid 10 seconds. Like, what is this girl saying?
Hey, been there. I once said choir as choir in a meeting. Trust me, we've all had those moments, but honestly, stumbling is part of getting better at this.
It is. And the funny thing is, words like these actually have fascinating histories. Take anemone, for instance. It comes from Greek roots, meaning windflower, but its pronunciation is, chaotic at best.
Totally. And combining those unexpected letters with that anemone sound, it really makes you pause. But knowing its quirkiness can kind of make it less intimidating, don't you think?
Exactly. Like, once you appreciate the story behind a word, it feels more approachable. It's not just a random jumble of sounds to stress over. It's a little puzzle.
And speaking of stress, psychologically, I think one thing that holds people back is the fear of getting it wrong.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like this universal brain freeze when you know you're about to mess up. But here's the thing, even native speakers mess up.
Absolutely. The key is actually just embracing the awkwardness. It's about being curious instead of afraid, turning those mistakes into learning moments instead of letting them shake your confidence.
I love that. It's like, use the misstep to say, okay, cool, now I know how to say it, and I'm going to nail it next time.
Yep. And trust us, curiosity beats perfection every single time.
For sure. So what's the takeaway here? Tricky words like kernel and anemone might feel impossible at first, but when you dig a little into their quirks, they're totally manageable and kind of fun too. Shall we keep going?
Exactly. So now that we've embraced the quirks, let's dive into some patterns that make those tricky words click. First up, word stress. It's fascinating how English can completely change the sound of a word just by shifting the emphasis on syllables.
Totally. Like photography versus photographic, right? The stress moves, and suddenly they feel like two completely different words.
Exactly. So in photography, the second syllable gets the stress, photography. But in photographic, it shifts to the third syllable, photographic. It really throws people off at first, but once you get used to listening for those stress shifts, it clicks.
Oh, for sure. And it's kind of fun to practice once you notice it. Like February, so many people rush through it and skip the first R altogether.
It's true. Same goes for words like jewelry and espresso. They're way easier when you break them into smaller chunks and focus on their natural stress patterns.
Oh, can we talk about silent letters for a second? Because those might be my favorite weird quirk of the English language.
Absolutely. Silent letters are everywhere. Take knee, that K up front isn't doing any work at all.
Not even a little bit. Or how about psychology? Why is there a silent P? Who decided that?
It all ties back to the history of English borrowing words from other languages like Greek and French. The P in psychology comes from the Greek root psyche, meaning mind or soul. Over time, a pronunciation evolved, but the spelling got stuck.
Ha! Stuck is right. And don't even get me started on subtle. That sneaky silent B is just sitting there, confusing everyone.
Oh, definitely. But once you know silent letters are often leftovers from older spellings, they become less mysterious. It's like unlocking a little secret.
Exactly. And speaking of secrets, what's the deal with the schwa sound? I had no idea it was everywhere until like a year ago.
Ah, the schwa. It's that sound that shows up in unstressed syllables like the A in banana or the E in camera. It's actually the most common sound in English.
Wait, what? The most common sound? That's wild. So, words we use every day are full of these tiny, lazy sounds?
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how it helps with the rhythm of speech. It's kind of like the glue that holds English together, making phrases sound smooth instead of choppy.
Okay, that's actually really cool. So something like family or banana sounds more natural because of the schwa.
That's right. It's a subtle detail, but once you tune into it, you start noticing it everywhere. And practicing those schwa sounds can really improve your flow when speaking English.
I love that. It's like finding these hidden rhythms in the language. Honestly, pronouncing banana feels like a little victory now.
It really does. And the best part is, focusing on these patterns, stress, silent letters, and schwa, makes learning other tricky words so much easier.
Right? It's like once you crack the code, these words aren't so intimidating anymore.
Exactly, Emma. Now that we've tackled some of those quirks, stress, silent letters, the schwa, it's time to get practical with a method to make those tricky words second nature. It's a straightforward 3-step process. First, you hear the correct pronunciation, ideally from a native speaker or a reliable source. Second, you break it into smaller, manageable pieces. And third, repeat it a ton until it sticks.
I love that. It's so simple, but it works. Like when I finally cracked anemone, I just kept saying it over and over. Anem-a-knee, until it stopped feeling like a tongue twister.
Exactly. Repetition is key. Our brains need that exposure to build memory links, but making it fun is just as important. You could even turn it into a game. Pick a word of the day and try to use it in a sentence with friends.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I've done that. Like one day I was obsessed with epitome, and I snuck it into every conversation. This taco is the epitome of deliciousness. Stuff like that.
That's perfect. Playfulness takes the pressure off, and when you're less worried about making mistakes, you're more likely to give it a shot.
Exactly. And speaking of tricky words, can we dive into some of the more notorious ones? You know, the ones that trip people up like every time.
Of course, let's start with subtle. It's spelled with a sneaky silent B, but you pronounce it sutul. Then there's receipt. We say receipt, and the P, not invited.
Oh, and sword. Why is the W silent? Like, where did it go? Did it just get lazy?
It's definitely a head scratcher. But once you know the rules or lack thereof, these quirks get less intimidating. Let's try a more visual one. Key. Looks like kie, sounds like key.
Wait, what? Key? Now that's just showing off.
It does feel that way sometimes. But knowing these tricks combined with practice turns those moments of hesitation into confidence. And honestly, it's okay to just ask if you're not sure. How do you say this? Is a totally valid move.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even natives get stumped all the time. It's not about perfection. It's about being brave enough to try. I think that's the biggest mindset shift.
Exactly. Progress over perfection. every time. Plus, the more you practice, the more these words become part of your everyday vocabulary. So why not pick one right now and add it to your list?
Yes. Okay, folks, your challenge, pick a word, maybe epitome, maybe anemone, and use it in a sentence today. Bonus points for sneaking it into a random conversation.
Great challenge, Emma. Tricky words like anemone or epitome can definitely be fun to work into a sentence, and it's a fantastic way to stay proactive with language practice. Let's dig a bit deeper into mastering these oddities.
Absolutely. And honestly, I love that takeaway. Every time you stumble over a word, it's proof you're stretching and learning. How cool is that?
It really is, and the more you put yourself out there, the easier it gets. It's not about being perfect, but about being curious and willing to learn.
Exactly. So, folks, remember this. Even the most confident speakers stumble sometimes. The key is to keep practicing and, most importantly, enjoy the journey.
And challenge yourself. Pick a word that stumped you today, break it down, and practice it until saying it feels natural. You've got this.
Oh, and don't forget, use one of those tricky words in a conversation today. Seriously, it works, and it's pretty fun too.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got a great one lined up on why Americans and Brits sound so different. It'll be fun and pretty mind-blowing too.
Yes, don't miss it. And hey, if you want even more pronunciation tips, we've got plenty of bonus content waiting for you. Just check out our show notes for details.
All right, that's all from us for today. Remember, every word you practice is a step toward mastering English pronunciation. Thanks for spending your time with us.
We've loved having you here. Until next time, keep speaking bravely.